Hey BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I'm here to do a tag today. This is the Around the World in 8 T prompts. And this tag was created by Mark at Book Time with Elvis. And he tagged me, so I'm very excited. Thank you so much, Mark. So here we go. First question is, theater, do you read plays? If so, tell us about one of your favorites. And I'm actually reading a play at the moment, or about to start to anyway. So yeah, I'm about to start Henry IV Part 1, which I'm really excited because I've heard so many great things about Henry IV Part 1, Part 2, and Henry V. So it's very, very cool. I really only read Shakespeare at the moment. I haven't expanded my my horizon of plays, reading plays, but yeah, I love participating in an event that has been renamed Shaktember. It's a celebration of Shakespeare every September, and I definitely encourage all of you to participate this year. It's so much fun. Yeah, it is my favorite BookTube event of the year. Question number 2, travel. Sadly, we can't travel these days, but do you have a favorite travel writer or travel book to take you away on armchair adventures? I don't have a favorite travel writer. I'm not sure I have a favorite travel book, but I do have a favorite place that I like to travel to, and that is Paris. And I think I've shown this on my channel before. This is Paris to the Past, Traveling Through French History by Train by Ina Caro. And dang it, I really hope I can get to this book this year because I've had it. It was a gift and I've had it for a while, and yeah, it's so good. Some other French books I can think of, The Dud Avocado is fantastic. That's kind of my go-to place. If there's a Paris book, I probably want to pick it up. Let's see. Question 3. Time. What book took you the longest time to read, and why was that? So, I don't have it anymore because I hated it so much by the time I was done with it, but that is The Source by James Michener. Aside from Tales of the South Pacific, any Michener book is huge, and I read it at a time when I was reading a lot of other things, so it took me probably 6 months to get through that book, and I just wanted to burn it by the time I was done. Not because it was a bad book. I do think it's one of the more interesting ideas that Michener has for the kinds of things that he writes about. But yeah, I'm pretty much done with Michener. The other book that came to mind is, and you may not know yet, but I have finally finished Parade's End. It took me 2 months. So yeah, and I mean, it was worth it. It was totally worth it, but it is a very, very challenging book. All right. Traditional. Fairy tales or nursery rhymes, what are some of your favorites, and what are some you would not think suitable for kids today? And you know, I don't have children, so I'm not saying, like, I don't know that all fairy tales are for kids, but I remember this book that Jason read and he just freaking loved, so I thought I would share it with you. This is The Uses of Enchantment, The Meaning and Importance of Fairy Tales by Bruno Bettelheim. And again, so I'm showing it. I haven't read it, but when Jason was reading it, he was just always sharing stuff with me, and it's not terribly long. This might be a good choice for Nonfiction November maybe. But yeah, so it says Bruno Bettelheim was one of the great child psychologists of the 20th century, and perhaps none of his books had been more influential than this revolutionary study of fairy tales and their universal importance in understanding childhood development. analyzing a wide range of traditional stories from the tales of Sinbad to the Three Little Pigs, Hansel and Gretel, the Sleeping Beauty. Bettelheim shows how the fantastical, sometimes cruel, but always deeply significant narrative strands of the classic fairy tales can aid in the greatest human task, that of finding meaning for one's life. So, sounds pretty heavy for just what what's about there. So, anyway, but so I'm kind of dodging that question, I realized, but I thought it would be good to share that book with you guys. Question number 5, tasty. Food, glorious food. What are some of your favorite books about food? So we're going back to Paris. And I absolutely love Julia Child's My Life in France. I can't not recommend this book highly enough. If you're thinking about reading Julie and Julia, skip it. I actually realized this morning that I DNF'd that book. I had forgotten, but yeah, I started it and I was just like, no. And this book, I mean, oh man, I was laughing out loud at one point so hard that I was almost crying. It's just wonderful. It's just, it's about her time in France with her husband. She's a wonderful, such a beautiful relationship with her husband, and just all these crazy experiments that she does in the kitchen at their place in France. And so anyway, I loved this book so much. So one of my very cherished favorites, and it is about food, but it's also about a lot of other things too. Question number 6, terrible. Who is a truly terrible or nasty but memorable character that stands out for you? Well, if you've been watching my channel for any time at all, you know I'm a big Charles Dickens fan. He has so many terrible, nasty villains. I just finished reading Our Mutual Friend with Joe Smith, and that included a character's name, Fledgeby. He's very nasty. The one that I first thought of was Quilp in the Old Curiosity Shop. I tried to find a picture an illustration in the book of him, but he's always kind of described as sort of a frog-like character, if you will, and it seems like he's just nasty, like just to be nasty, if you will. So that was the one but I mean, Dickens is full of fantastic, terrible villains. So question number 7, truth. The truth is often stranger than fiction, they say. Give us some examples of this from your extensive reading. And I wasn't quite sure what Mark wanted there, but I went to the nonfiction shelves and pulled out Eric Larson's Devil in the White City. This takes place I think it starts 1830s. It goes back and forth between the building and the actual event of the 1839 World's Fair in Chicago, as well as a character whose last name is Holmes, who's a serial killer. And I mean, yeah, if you wrote like the things he did in a novel, nobody would believe you. Like it is very, very dark. I think one of my mother's friends like couldn't handle the sections about Holmes, and so she would just skip ahead to the stuff about the World's Fair, which is also fascinating. So it's a really interesting combination between this big major event and how did that take place, and in the meantime, like this guy is going around killing people. And I did see a quote from him at the front of this. He said, and this is in his confession, which happened in 1896. I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. I don't know if we want to compare serial killers to poets. But anyway, this is a really compelling read, but it is very, very dark. All right, and finally, 8, tag. Oh, and I'm supposed to make up an 8 prompt directed to those of you who wish to tag to stick to the theme of tea. So, I'm gonna do tell and tell me the best book you've read in the last year. How about that? So a few people I'd like to tag. I don't think Steve Donahue's been tagged in this yet. So I'm gonna tag Steve Donahue, Summer at Cozy Reading with Quaker Cats. And I can't remember this woman's name. I'm so sorry. It's Knitting Books, etc. I think she's in Portugal. Bethan Bruniga-Scholar. I'm really probably botching people's names here. I am so sorry. And Matt at Paperback Junkie. Thanks, Mark, so much for tagging me. And book 2, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.